John Cena needs kicked in the skull. These are my words. These aren't Randy Orton's, these are my words. And this is why I think that he needs to be kicked into the skull. It's not because I dislike John Cena or anything like that. It's got nothing to do with him as a wrestler or him as a human being. In fact, as a human being, he seems like he's a pretty solid guy, considering all that he's done for the troops, all that he does for kids, blah, blah, blah. But here's the thing. The whole legacy McMahon saga that's going on right now on the Raw and now transcribing itself over to the SmackDown brand is getting a little bit ridiculous. I mean, first you have Randy Orton punting Vince McMahon in the skull. Instant heel heat. Which really is weird because just a couple of short years ago, Vince McMahon was seen as the evil genius. And he was the one getting all the heel heat for his decisions. What happened? I don't know. He started giving away money and people started to love him. Money really does talk, I guess. Then he punched Shane McMahon in the skull, which, well, Shane, of course, had it coming, considering he continuously asked for matches to try to avenge his father. But then, the anomaly of the bunch. There's heel heat for both of those, but then whenever Stephanie McMahon Helmsley gets RKO'd in the middle of the ring, there's actually a mixture of cheers with the boos. Now, personally, Stephanie McMahon Helmsley is kind of like Vicky Guerrero in the sense that she's just one of those really annoying people that you just don't like. The difference is that they're trying to market and push Stephanie McMahon Helmsley as a face, or at least as a neutral character that's trying to do the right thing, the fair thing, and trying to make Raw into a better place. The problem with this is that it's just not working. Stephanie McMahon has a voice that could easily break glass. She's also somebody who always has that look on her face like she deserves something more than what she's already gotten. Firstly, she's married to Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Triple H, who's one of the most popular, most dominant, and most influential people on the Raw, SmackDown, ECW, WWE roster right now, here today. He's a man who has creative control in the back, he's held the world title 13 times, and he's pushing to break Ric Flair's record. Obviously, there's a little bit of swing there whenever you marry into the family. But think of this. The most massive heel heat that you could get if you're Randy Orton is to kick the most important member of the Raw or SmackDown roster, whatever roster he's going to be a part of, John Cena, square in the skull. I mean, think about this. There would be kids looking up to Cena, that have looked up to Cena now for years, that would be literally almost in tears. There would be all of the fans that would instantly hate Randy Orton for his actions. Randy Orton basically would never be able to live down the fact that he kicked John Cena in the skull. Personally, I think it makes a lot more sense, but I understand what they're trying to do. Since Triple H won the title at No Way Out in the Elimination Chamber, they have to set up a WrestleMania match. And the most fit competitor right now for Triple H to face is now Randy Orton, since Orton messed with the McMahon family. Which is interesting because while in Generation X, of course, Triple H was doing everything in his power to ridicule the family. Doesn't really make sense to me, but hey, times change. Meanwhile, on the other hand, John Cena looks like he's going to snake his way into the main event of WrestleMania, which was originally booked to be The Big Show versus Edge. Now, personally, The Big Show versus Edge is going to be a boring snooze fest, and I think a lot of people knew that. There's probably a slim to none chance, maybe a 1 out of 100 chance, that a matchup between the Big Buffoon and the man who used to say, for the benefit of those with flash photography, would actually have a fantastic match worthy of the WrestleMania name. But, from the events that we saw on Friday Night SmackDown, it looks like John Cena has some information that he revealed to Vicky Guerrero that made her just absolutely crap her pants. And literally, I think some people smelled it in the first couple of rows. I think she actually dropped a deuce right there in her pants. This, to me, is telling me that John Cena is going to use it as leverage to get into the main event at WrestleMania. Now, whether it's going to be a triple threat match with those three, which personally I think would be a terrible match as well, or if he's going to somehow make it just him versus Edge, which I think would be a better candidate for a match, that still remains to be seen. But it just looks like John Cena has been able to snake his way in. Now, John Cena does have one problem, one thing that I really dislike about John Cena right now, and that's that he really isn't durable as a character now. John Cena has gathered himself such a huge fan base that it's going to take a sheer miracle and a Chris Jericho-like performance in order for him to turn heel, in order for him to ever make that kind of turn. As you remember, Chris Jericho, it took him a couple of weeks of drilling into the skulls of every single fan that this was not a farce, that he is a changed man, until they finally started to accept him as a heel. And really, it wasn't until he attacked people like Shawn Michaels and more recently the legends of the WWE that people really started to give him the boos that he so rightfully has deserved as a heel. And he's doing a terrific job as a heel. But John Cena, on the other hand, has such a huge fan base as a face. So many people that have bought his merchandise. He's essentially become this generation's Stone Cold or The Rock. Now, The Rock has been able to pull off the heel role slightly. He was able to do it slightly. But Stone Cold Steve Austin, on the other hand, it was next to impossible. Because Stone Cold was seen as the hero of the people that was always going to come down, take down the evil corporation and everything like that for so many years that whenever he finally aligned himself with Vince McMahon, not only were people not really all that shocked, they really just didn't react. Instead, a new catchphrase was born, that being, what? So think about it. Randy Orton to become the biggest heel in the WWE, for sure, as an almost guarantee, punched John Cena square in the skull. I think it's personally a pretty damn good idea, and I think it could set up one hell of a rivalry. Maybe not for the first half of 2009, here right after WrestleMania. I think the Triple H and Randy Orton feud is going to go on and last a little bit longer than just WrestleMania. But for the second half of the year, I think that this is something that needs to be done. Of course, like usual, rate, comment, subscribe to these videos. This has been the second episode of The Shoot by Porcupine Theater. If you hate what I say and think that I'm an asshole, leave me a video comment. Sucker.
We keep it hopping like the cars with the shocks. We spitting heat on your block. We new to the game, but running the spot. Numbing your knob with baselines that'll make your neck break. It's Rook will take a queen and put your king in checkmate. Open your mind without making your